Hello, everyone, and welcome to the launch of the Leading Through Learning Africa Regional Hub. My name is Olawale Samuel, and I will be your facilitator for today's webinar, and I very much look forward to your participation. Now, before we go ahead, I just want to make a very strong apology. We had planned to have the webinar in French, in Arabic, in Portuguese, but unfortunately, technology was just not on our side. So I really do apologize for that inability to kind of hold that down and have interpretation, translation into other languages. We really do apologize, but then not to worry. We're going to have a lot of other opportunities that we have planned to accommodate our brothers from the non-English speaking areas. So please accept our apologies. So while we share our organizational affiliation and the country of location and why we're here, I would like to just let you know that this event is being recorded so that those who are unable to join us today can have another opportunity to view and process what our deliberations will be today. And in addition to being your facilitator today, I'm also the coordinator for the Africa Regional Hub, part of the USAID Leading Through Learning Global Platform. So now I want to thank you again for joining us. We don't want to take much of your time, so we're going to launch into the purpose of our being here. Now we're going to talk about the regional hub. We're launching the regional hub today on the platform of the USAID Leading Through Learning Global Platform. The regional hub is a community of practice for learning, for sharing, and getting access to learning network technical topics in Africa and, of course, globally. The hub will facilitate cross-network and cross-thematic integration at the regional level and enable members to access, build, and share knowledge local needs while benefiting from and contributing as well to what can do for you. We hope to facilitate a networking opportunity among you, the people who work and who are dedicated to education.
It seems our facilitator Wale is having some technical difficulties. I'm wondering if our colleague Cynthia Coons is able to join us on camera and step in for a moment while we wait for Wale to rejoin us.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Really grateful to see such a large crowd and people from all over the world, including all parts of Africa, I think I've seen. I am the Director of Network and Hub Development for the Leading Through Learning Global Platform. So I'll just step in here for Wale for a little bit and hopefully his tech issues can be solved. So while I was just describing a little bit about the Regional Hub, this is a community of practice for learning and sharing and getting access to learning network technical topics in the region and globally. We hope the Hub will facilitate cross-network and cross-thematic integration at the regional level and enable members to access, build, and share knowledge to address local needs. And we will introduce the Leading Through Learning Global Platform Africa Regional Hub and what membership can do for you and how it works over the course of this webinar. And then we'll take some time to have discussion with you about what are the topical priorities you'd be interested in. First, I'll just mention some of the key players in our project. It's a pleasure to work with Josh Josa. He is the Leading Through Learning Global Platform Contracting Officer Representative. We also work closely with Kelsey Woodruck. She is the Leading Through Learning Global Platform Activity Manager. And they both work for USAID. And then on our side, on the EDC side, we work with myself, the director, Christian Alongway, the representative of our key partner, ADEA, Association for the Development of Education in Africa. And together with a lot of other people, we're bringing you this launch today and look forward to building out this regional hub. So thank you to everyone who has contributed to putting together this event and helping us do this launch. We want to offer a few of our norms for our time together today. Unfortunately, as Wale mentioned, we are not able to offer the language translation. We do have auto-closed captioning, which will be available in English. Please remember to turn off the camera when you're not talking and mute your microphone. You are welcome to post questions and comments in the chat whenever you like. We have a team that will collect and triage those so that we can make sure to answer as many as we can by the end. Ensure your name in the participant list matches the name that you registered with. This will keep us on track for monitoring. And lastly, as we've mentioned a couple of times, this webinar is being recorded so we can share with those that were not able to join us. So at this time, we will start with the poll. Wale, are you back with us yet?
Yes, I'm back. Thank you, Cynthia.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was technology for you, but good to be back with you guys. Like Cynthia said, at this junction, we'll be having some icebreaker. So I just want to share some instruction about the icebreaker. So you should be looking at 4 images now on your screens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be asking each person to select the best image that best represents your hope and aspiration for education in Africa. So my colleague, Geneva, is going to be launching a poll now. Please select the letter that corresponds to your preferred image. Let's have a go at that. So we have the poll running. You should see it on your screen. Your vision for education in Africa. So which of these images best represents your hopes for the education sector in the Africa region? It's a single choice question. So I'm going to give you like a minute to have this done. So which of the images best represents your hopes for the education sector in the Africa region? We all have hopes, we have aspiration, we have an idea of how we want education to be in Africa. So please take the polls, and then at the end of the day, I would share the results with you. I think we have a couple of minutes left. Few more seconds. We have image A. I can see some people putting the option in the chat box. We want you to take the poll so that we can have a collective result at the end of it all. A few seconds left. Can we have the results, please? So, image A, we have 26% of participants opting for image A. We have 12% for image B, 19% for image C, and 44% for image D. Image D takes the day. So that is just what we have. So thank you for being part of the poll. Now, I want to invite some of us to come off mute and share your own perspective, your own image. If you have something different from the image you have shared, please come off mute. We'll just take it like very briefly. Let's hear from you what you think, your own opinion, your own view about your vision for Africa. Can we have someone come off mute, please?
My name is Leela Schroeder, and I actually intended to click on C and got D. And I just want to say my reason for wanting C is thinking about early reading, early education for African children, taking them all the way to higher levels, university level. That's what I'd like to see. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, we do all know that early grade reading, foundational literacy, it's very important. Do we have any other person who may want to share their thoughts? All right.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Ronke from Nigeria. I actually chose A because I'm looking at it in the sense of education for all.
Oh, good. Thank you, Ronke.
Hello.
Right. Yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Please, let's take it one after the other.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Animals like biker.
All right. What's your own vision? Yeah, please share your vision. Yeah. Okay.
Actually, I saw C as all encompassing. There are books there, there's technology like science, and a lot of entrepreneurship idea in the chat I saw. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, please
Hello?
go ahead. I can hear you.
Hello?
Please go ahead.
Yes,
My
I'm
name
Nima
is
Slabaika of Fulfilling Dreams Foundation from Nigeria. I actually choose D. I look at D as a child-centered education for African child.
All right.
And
So
also
I think
all-inclusive education, yes?
Go ahead, please.
Where the interest of the child is put into consideration for all-round quality education. That's my choice of D.
Thank you. We don't have all day, but I would like to just take on Isaiah to please share his own aspiration before we move on. Isaiah, please.
My name is Isaiah. Please confirm you can actually hear me.
I can hear you clearly.
Right. My name is Isaiah. I work with West Africa Vocational Education, a Nigerian-based NGO based in Lagos. My reason of choosing B, I choose B is that our education should be able to transition young people into employment or entrepreneurship, and also be able to enhance their social mobility. That's why I choose B.
Okay, thank you, Isaiah. So we're going to be stop. Hello, who is that? Okay, let me see. Is that okay? We have a session where we're going to come back to this. We don't want to spend the whole time talking about this vision here. We still have a session. I assure you, you're still going to have an interactive session coming up. So let's keep our thoughts for now. So yeah, thank you so much. So right now, as you all know, we are here to launch the USAID Leading Through Learning Global Platform, Africa Regional Hub, and in the spirit of inclusion and co-creation. So, I mean, that's why we have you guys here today, because we're going to set the ball rolling through inclusion and working together with our partners. So I'm pleased to have as our primary partner, the Association for the Development of Education in Africa, ADIA. We have with us today, Krista Elongwe, who is the Knowledge Management Officer. He would be giving some welcome address to us. Kristen, are you here with us, please?
Yes, please. Yes, please, Samuel. I hope we are all able to hear me clearly.
Clearly.
Okay. So thank you so much. And as you have already said, ADEA is here as a technical partner in the implementation of the Leading Through Learning Africa Regional Hub. And we do this especially at the level of the Inter-Country Quality Node. It is a group of countries that come together to reflect and to engage on key thematic issues. Some of those issues are connected to early childhood education, quality of teaching, teachers training and development, and also issue of financing education and school reopening. So through the Africa Regional Hub, we are together mobilizing knowledge across Africa in the area of education development, practices, and policy. And we also ensure that as much stakeholders are empowered through knowledge dissemination so that the best practices are implemented across Africa. And we are glad of being part of this, and we hope that as many will join us so that together we can amplify the voice and impact of education across the continent. Thank you, and we all believe that alone we can go fast, but together we can go far. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christian. At this point, now I know you have a lot to say about the polls, what your own reflection, your thoughts about the poll. But before we move further to areas of interaction where we're going to have a question and an answer session, I want to show you how your poll resonates with the vision of the Africa Hub and the learning networks for our activity. And to shed more light on this, I want to call on Cynthia Coons. Cynthia is a Networks and Hubs Director, and she'll be sharing more light on the wider objective of the Leading Through Learning Global Platform, of which the Africa Hub is a part. Cynthia, please.
Thanks so much, Wale, and pleasure to be back with all of you. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background about the project and the parameters and ways to engage. So the Leading Through Learning Global Platform initiated in 2020. It's a global education learning system for USAID and its partners that focuses on enhancing leadership and education program quality. The learning system includes 3 learning networks and currently 3 regional hubs. The learning networks are focused on a particular technical area. 2 of these may already be familiar to you because they existed in a prior project cycle. That's Education, Crisis, and Conflict Network and the Global Reading Network. These are joined by a 3rd new global network called the Higher Education Learning Network. The regional hubs are focused on a particular region, and they're going to help us localize this learning system. Aside from Africa, the 2 other hubs are located in Washington, D.C. and Latin America, Caribbean. Each learning network has chapters in each of the regional hubs. So what are we working on this learning system to achieve? We have 3 objectives you can see on the screen here. The first objective brings together USAID and partners to create tools and resources. That second objective really focuses on knowledge and skills, again, for USAID and implementing partners. And the third objective brings together USAID staff and implementing partners to collaborate and share evidence-based practices related to USAID education sector priorities. And it's in that objective in particular where we really hope that you all will help us through the Africa Regional Hub. So guiding the regional hubs and the networks are what we call our terms of reference. And these are the directions and kind of parameters that guide our work together and give us a shared way of working. So what are the networks and regional hubs? Where they are facilitated groups of peers who document and share knowledge between USAID and implementing partners in order to enhance leadership and education program quality. They are also facilitated. And this means that there is a team, you've met Wale and you'll meet the others soon, that has a mandate to manage the operation of the hub or network through specific activities such as launches, their website design, communication, newsletters, recruitment, meeting, etc. Also, the networks and regional hubs have open rolling enrollment. That means anyone can join at any time and it's free. Finally, they are non-hierarchical, and this means that no single network or regional hub is leading the others. Rather, our collaboration is multi-directional across networks and hubs together in a flat structure. The networks and hubs and our members create their own demand and supply for knowledge products and events that they think are necessary to improve education quality in the area that they are working. Each hub and network has a steering group or leadership body that will meet quarterly or biannually and give direction and steer to the group's work plan. All of the work that we do in the networks and the hubs and the Leading Through Learning Global platform is aligned with the USAID education policy and strategy. So I hope this gives you a clear understanding of the ways of working of the Leading Through Learning platform and encourages you to join as a member. Wale will now tell us a little bit more specifically about what the Africa Regional Hub will offer you.
Yeah, thank you, Cynthia, for that exhaustive description of the hub and the learning networks. So I'm going to share with you what the membership, how the membership of the regional hub will take shape. So let me also let you know that for some of you who know me, I was with USAID for about 8 years, and I was also a contracting officer, what we call those who manage activities. But one thing that I discovered in my 8 years in USAID, working closely with those in the field, with NGOs and with the people we call the implementing partners, those who are the ones who make the knowledge products for USAID, I discovered a huge gap between the knowledge produced in the field and the available opportunities to inform policies with such evidence in Africa, especially working with our government. We know the importance of having evidence-informed policies. So this is one of the gaps that the hub would cover in Africa. So like we said, and we've heard a lot from Cynthia, we're here because we want to see access to education expand and the quality of basic education all around, not just basic education. We want to see it increase throughout the continent. I believe that the Africa Hub is an important platform to achieve this. So for us, the Africa Hub is a marketplace of ideas where best practices in education programming can get wings to fly. So what do you get out of being a member of the hub? You can network with some of the best subject matter experts in the world and in Africa. We can guarantee you that. How do we intend to go about doing that? You can, through our platform, learn about the latest trends in education in Africa and globally, and you can adapt such knowledge products. You can contextualize them, and you can share your own best practices as well in the hub. And you can develop your skills through your own professional development expertise. We also offer professional development opportunities as well, so that people keep growing and people keep having being on top of their game when it comes to implementation and programming. So what makes us different from the other community of practice? Through virtual engagement, Africa Hub members no longer need funding to travel across the globe in search of knowledge or to conferences to access the best thought leadership. The Hub members can much more easily stay up to date about USAID education programming priorities and trends and contribute to setting the tone for USAID and its educational projects in Africa. The Leading Through Learning Global Platform concept notes process is something that we have put together, and it's a perfect example for how we intend to do this. Because of our 3 learning networks, you can gain multi-dimensional and multi-sectoral skills to keep your skill set relevant. If you are employed with USAID, I know some of us are here who are staffers with USAID, what is in it for you as well? The hub membership will allow you to shop for evidence that is regionally relevant. You can receive professional mentoring, collaborate with other regional missions, and of course, potentially open up another avenue for you for receiving international recognition as an exceptional foreign service national. So if you are employed by an organization dedicated to advancing education, and I know a lot of us are here today who belong to this category, a company, an NGO, public institution, you can get a closer audience with USAID regionally and in your respective countries. And in others in the sector, you can do this. We will achieve this by enabling you to network and also to have collegial relationships with like-minded individuals. Why is the Africa Hub important at this moment in time? Because of COVID-19, we were all restricted from traveling. Now it is more common for knowledge workers to work remotely or from their own homes. The Africa Hub offers you the opportunity to receive virtual technical mentoring. You can engage with the best of ideas regionally by sitting in your own home. In addition, we know that the pandemic and natural disasters, as well as economic and political strife, has caused education to face many competing priorities from donors. In Africa, we see challenges in returning to learning after COVID-19, and the financing of education is also shrinking. Africa Hub members now have this unique opportunity to offer their input into shaping USAID's education priorities, and of course, helping to shape the topical priorities for Africa as well, as far as education is concerned. Now, I want to show you how to engage with this beautiful process. So many have asked, how can we join? So this is an opportunity for you to join right now. If just take a look at your chat box, you can join through the links that we've shared in the chat box. You can join the activities and select the learning networks or regional hubs that are of interest to you just by clicking the link in your chat box. So you can do so by going to sign up. You go to the sign up form in the chat box, and then you can register, and then you can also select the learning networks, like I said, and the regional hubs that are of interest to you. And I will, of course, assume that most of us will be registering with the Africa Hub. So through this link as well, you can also register for events. We have a lot of webinars coming up. You can enroll for professional development courses. For USAID purposes, participants can enroll, of course, through the USAID University. But for external courses and events, participants can enroll through the EduLinks and then register using the Eventbrite. So another opportunity is co-creation. Through the hub, we can co-create knowledge products or events, providing opportunities. Opportunities will be announced in the last quarter of the year in terms of the opportunities for you to co-create knowledge with like-minded participants. Don't forget that it's a community of practice. So you're going to be having a lot of opportunities to work with like-minded people, and we will be providing those opportunities in the last quarter of this year. So here are some of the examples of leading through learning activities that I want to share with you. We have conducted some of these, we've conducted them since the activity began, and I will be speaking to a few of them. The first is the Higher Education Learning Network, and I know we have with us some university professors, researchers, even students. And so this is very, very germane to you in terms of engaging with the hub. So for the Higher Education Learning Network, we've chosen to call it HELEN. We hosted USAID's first Global Evidence Summit for Higher Education in May. The summit revolved around higher education learning agenda and themes that are very important to Africa. Themes like innovation, employability, and private sector engagement. There were more than 60 sessions held over 3 weeks, and majority of the participants, of course, were from Africa. So outside of the US, Africa, in that conference, Africa had the highest geographical representation. We had about 1,600 registered participants from Africa. And let me also share with you the Global Reading Network. The Global Reading Network has been involved with 2 multi-week training programs for education officers within USAID, one involving evidence-based best practices for designing and implementing reading reform activities that ended last week, and the other 3 in-person courses on pre-primary education programming will be delivered in the coming months. The other network that we have is the Education in Crisis and Conflict Network, which was involved in a training for USAID officers on social-emotional learning delivered in April. The training covered social-emotional learning and soft skills programming in complex learning environments, such as in crisis context and distance learning. For those who work in the conflict context, this would be very important for you to engage with social-emotional learning. Finally, we have conducted many cross-network activities. There was a call for promising practices in education in response to COVID-19 that closed a few weeks ago. The team will be developing case studies based on some of the applications, and organizations will be selected to share their practices during webinars scheduled for August and September. The Leading Through Learning call for concept notes. This will drive our next set of activities, recently closed, and the review of proposal is currently underway. However, members will have opportunities to engage with approved activities as they unfold. More details will be communicated soon, but to ensure that you don't miss out, please sign up to be a member now. We already shared the link. Kindly sign up to be a member and access these excellent opportunities for networking. I also want to talk about the current and upcoming engagement opportunities in terms of how you are able to network with us effectively. The Higher Education Learning Network will be having a webinar on the following topic: USAID Higher Education and Industry Collaboration Primer. This will happen in July, and a solutions-oriented workshop on higher education in conflict and crisis-affected settings in September. In the next few months, a primer will be released and a webinar held on women's access to higher education. And in the coming weeks, the Higher Education Learning Network will be posting information and recordings to EduLinks and the Higher Education Global Evidence Summit, which held in May. The Global Reading Network will be hosting a webinar on return to learning. This will happen tomorrow. If you're interested in attending, you can click on the QR code to register. You just check our slide, you see the QR code. We also share that with you in the chat box so that you can register. The Education in Crisis and Conflict Network will be having a community consultation webinar in July. That is also an opportunity for you to engage. And across the network, we'll be hosting webinars on promising practices in COVID-19 education response in August and September. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're back now.
Yes,
All right.
we can hear you.
You bake now, you bake.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. So, and across the network, like I said, we'll be hosting webinars on promising practices in COVID-19 education response in August or September, and webinars as well to learn more about local capacity development policy, which the USAID has tagged the CBLD9 indicator. So now, I've shared a lot with you. It's time to also hear from you. So we're going to be having questions and of course answers. So please, I want you to drop your questions in the chat box. We've said a lot about who we are, what we intend to achieve, We talked about the learning networks. We've also shared with you the regional hub. And of course, I know a lot of you may have questions in terms of how all these intersect and interconnect. So please go into the chat box, drop your questions there. Myself and my colleague will do our best to answer them. And David as well, my colleague, can also read out some of the questions. So let's have a go at that.
So Wale, there's a question that says that can the hub also host other partner developed online courses?
David, please come again. I couldn't hear you clearly.
Can you hear me clear now?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so there's a question that can the hub also host other partners develop online courses?
Well, let me pass that question to Cynthia, who can shed more light on that.
Hi, this is Cynthia. The hub can definitely amplify existing courses. We have 4 communication channels that we can post them on, and we can also help co-host events to share trainings in smaller groupings. And we can also request with our USAID partners to either link to or post your training onto the website for the networks and the hubs. So for details on that, we would go through what we're calling our member-led activities or ad hoc activities, and you can reach out to Wale afterwards, and we'll be happy to explore that with you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Do we have some more questions, David?
Is there a platform where all the collaboration happens and networking?
Yeah, of course. The hub, this is a kind of public presentation, a public launch of the hub for your awareness. The hub will evolve in terms of partnership. And of course, we'll be reaching out to you in terms of encouraging you to join 3 chapters. The hub will host 3 chapters in Africa. The hub will have the Education in Conflict and Crisis chapter, the Global Reading Network chapter, and of course, the Higher Education Learning Network chapter. In future as well, we would be seeking your opinion if there is a need to have more learning networks in Africa. So the hub is a platform, and it's going to be structured on membership basis. We're going to have coordinating committees that would lead and guide the process. Thank you. Giovanna, okay. Let me take something from Giovanna. She has her hands up. Giovanna, please.
Thank you. My question to you is this: if you're in a country, how do you join? I'm based in the USA, but I'm originally from Mauritius, so I'm wondering, how do I get Mauritians to get involved on the hub?
Thank you, Giovanna. We shared a link earlier. You could check through the chat where you can, click the link, and it will take you to our site where you can join the Africa Hub, where you can also join any of the learning networks. It's virtual. It's web-based, so you can join up anywhere in the world.
Yeah, so then I can share that with people in the country, and then they can just join and be members, and they'll get access to the information. Is that correct? Yes,
please. Okay. Correct.
Thank you so much.
Right. Tunde Omole.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for this rare opportunity. I'm Omole Abatunde. I'm the national moderator and the board chair for Civil Society Action Coalition on Education for All in Nigeria. I want to know, because almost all the hubs actually sound very interesting to me. Is it possible for me to be part of more than one hub per time?
Yeah, thank you, Tunde. If you recall, we talked about multi sector skills. You can, of course, be a part of more than one learning network, not the hub this time around. We have the Africa Hub, of course, we have the Latin America and the Caribbean Hub, but we're here today for the Africa Hub because this is regional, this is contextual. We're dealing with issues that relates to Africa. So in the areas of the learning networks, you of course can join more than one learning networks. For your information again, the learning networks form part of the hub. So we have the education and crisis, the education crisis and conflicts. We have the global reading network. We have the higher education. So you can join more than one. Thank you. Let me go back to David.
Okay, thank you, Wale. There's a question that says that, what do you think about digital learning method in Africa?
Yeah, so the hub serves as a platform where people, now we call it user, is a user-friendly platform whereby participants can help us frame those topical issues that are germane to Africa. It's an opportunity for us to shape topics and also come up with the topics that you think in this era are very important to Africa. So by the time we set up, we're going to be getting a lot of feedback from you, and we're going to be taking your feedback seriously. And those feedback, of course, will help us drive the direction, the topical direction of the Africa Hub in Africa. Thank you.
Okay, one last question. How can the hub drive the process of digitization of technical vocational education and training, TVET, for skills development in Africa?
Right. So by the time you join up and you become a member of any of our 3 learning networks, I don't want to preempt your question, but I think your question will find a very vibrant place in the higher education learning network. That is where we talk about innovation, and that is where we talk about employability. So when you have your questions at the back of your mind, please, they should also guide you when you join up with any of our 3 learning networks. All right, so I think we can take one more before we move on.
Can you tell us more about professional development courses?
Okay.
What is their average duration? What type of certificates are offered?
So now for professional development, this is an ongoing process. So for now, we have, please, can we mute ourselves, please? We have some interruptions from the participant. Please kindly mute yourself. Thank you. So for professional development opportunities, we're going to be having them, incrementally as for now, you can have access to opportunities around learning about social emotional learning skills. You have opportunities to learn about highly grade reading. You have opportunities to learn a lot of critical skills in terms of issues related to higher education and learning network. So this is what we call the knowledge product. As time goes by, we're going to be producing a lot of knowledge products that would keep you on top of your game in terms of designing our education program and other measures. Thank you. So we're going to move on now because we still have a bit to go. So now we will also go into some networking and collaboration session. Now, for us, this is very important in terms of access to the latest trend and knowledge product that is relevant to the education sector in Nigeria. A lot of you have come up with very excellent suggestions, but when we network and collaborate, we will begin to look at more relevant knowledge products that is very well suitable for Africa. So as a starter, we'll go into a breakout session. So we're going to push you into a breakout session. And as you go into your respective groups for networking, kindly introduce yourself. And of course, having done that, share briefly about one of your education projects, one of your projects or your passion for education, and say why this is meaningful to you. And say it's in such a way that it resonates with the image that you chose during the icebreaker. So once everyone in the group has shared their passion, we want you to collaborate on a headline that describes your group's shared aspiration for education in Africa. One member of your group should type the headline into the Jamboard. You will find the link to the Jamboard in the chat box. But if you check the chat box, you're going to see the link to the chat, to the Jamboard, sorry. So introduce yourself once you get into your respective rooms, and then share your passions and why your passion is meaningful to you and how it relates to the image you chose during the ice breaker. So let me lead by example. Once you get into the room, what are we asking you to do? You could say, one of my passion, for example, is early grade reading. This is meaningful to me because it strengthens the foundation of education. I chose the teacher instruction image. Now we're kind of linking it back to the image you chose. I chose the teacher instruction image as my hope for education in Africa. And my passion relates to this because no nation can develop beyond the quality of his teachers. So here's the Jamboard. And of course, examples of the headlines are there for you. Add your own headline. Go to the link in the chat box, please. Double click on an empty sticky note once you get into the Jamboard and hit save. We have offered a few examples of headlines for you when you get there. So for the headlines, here are a few examples. Teacher quality improved, because we're talking about your vision for Africa. So as an headline, here is an example. Teacher quality improved. All children now have access to quality education. So those are examples of headlines. So please click on the Jamboard link if you have not done so in the chat box now. And then you could also send us a message if you have trouble accessing it. This exercise will take us about 20 minutes. And after that, we'll come back into plenary. So I just want to remind you again that we are recording this event. And so I want to thank you. We want to move quickly. We don't have all the time. It's something that we would have loved to engage with, but like I said, please join up with us. You're going to be enjoying a lot of interaction with the Africa Hub and of course with our 3 learning network. We are just presenting this to you for the first time. So we may not be able to cover everything. So thank you for those headlines, and thank you because they do, of course, connect with our learning networks. And I want to remind you that we should all be muted so that we don't interfere with the proceedings, please. So without wasting much time, let me move on to our next agenda. So we in the Africa Hub and the LTLGP Secretariat share many of your aspirations for our region, especially as depicted in the headlines. Now in April, the steering groups of each of our 3 learning networks have established some priorities, and we would like your input on this list. I would thereby, going forward, want to invite the leaders of the learning networks. We have 3 learning networks. I keep repeating this so that you understand how this dynamic works. So I want to call on my colleagues, Jennifer Lebron and Kate Lapham, to introduce themselves and share the priorities with us. Let me start with Jennifer, please.
Hi, Wale. Hello, everyone. I'm so delighted to be here in community with you. My name is Jennifer Lebron. I am the leader of the Higher Education Learning Network, which, as you've heard, we call the Helen for fun. Our priorities are listed here, and really working with our steering group, which are representatives of our global network, we really wanted to prioritize the learner in higher education and to understand how we can shape and move higher education and all of its functions, all of its collaborations, all of the individuals that work in and within and with higher education? How can we put students at the forefront of that? So understanding learner-centered design and learner-centered institutions, from the purpose, from the functions, and how we can improve higher education institutions as organizations, improving skill development, leadership, management, and other things. So I hope that you'll take a look at our priorities. And if you have any ideas, if you have experiences, if you have thoughts on how to make institutions of higher education more learning centered, if you have examples of seeing this in your own work, please reach out to me and reach out to the Helen. You can do that by joining our platform, or I'll put my email address in the chat. Feel free to reach out and email me if you have any thoughts or ideas or suggestions related to our themes here. Thank you so much for the time. I look forward to talking with many of you in the future, and I'll turn it over to my colleague, Kate, I think, who is here.
Thanks so much, Jen, and welcome everyone. It is absolutely great to be here. My name is Kate Lapham. I am the lead for the Education in Crisis and Conflict Network. And we are looking specifically at ways that this group can contribute to the field of education in emergencies. The steering group has, in deep discussions, identified some topical priorities, which you can see in front of you on the slides. We have a particular focus around strengthening resilience capacities for local education institutions and systems, because we recognize that that systemic level of risk is incredibly important. We look also at enhancing the safety of learning environments from kindergarten on through the age range, including non-formal and informal environments. Next slide, please. And you will see that we are also quite concerned with student and educator well-being in the context of crisis and conflict. We want to discuss with you questions of quality, educational equity, and inclusion for any learners who are affected by crisis. And as a sort of cross-cutting discussion within this network, we talk about locally led solutions and contextualization, as well as collecting crisis and conflict relevant data, monitoring and evaluation methods. So that and it is always wonderful to hear a child laugh in the middle of a presentation, because it brings back to us why we are all here and what is so important about this work. And in particular, in elevating the learning that you are gaining in the field, right? What you are doing in different parts of the African continent to support all of these topical priorities. I know that the information about how to join the networks was posted in the beginning, but I would just ask, maybe we can post that again in the chat for everyone in case others have joined a bit later and haven't seen it. And with that, thank you so much for coming, for listening, and I will hand back to my colleague, Wale.
Thank you, Kate. I'll be standing in for my colleague, Natalie Brackett. She's the lead for the Global Reading Network.
Hey, Wale. Sorry to interrupt, but no need to stand in. I am here.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Please take it away.
Of course. Sorry to interrupt, but hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Brackett. I am the lead for the Global Reading Network, where, like my peer network leads and my peer regional hub coordinators, we are really interested in all sorts of cross-functional network and community building, but the GRN is particularly focused on the continuum around basic education and improving learning outcomes for learners from early childhood all the way through youth, around literacy, numeracy, social and emotional learning, the whole set of skills and learning outcomes that we can improve for folks around the world. This is our list of topical priorities that our steering group worked together to generate. We're actually very interested in your feedback on this list and engagement with these topics. Thanks for clicking across. Rather than going into all of them at the moment, I will highlight, might have been on the previous slide, the return to learning topical focus, because we have a wonderful event planned for tomorrow where we can continue this great discussion and these Jamboard type peer-to-peer learning conversations within the context of the GRN's mandate. So I will drop a registration link for that event taking place tomorrow for you to join. Please, we would be so happy to see your faces again there. And it's kind of your most immediate opportunity to continue to engage with the Leading Through Learning global platform. Thanks, Wale, for the moment and letting me plug our upcoming opportunity here.
Thank you so much. So now you've heard from us, you've heard about the education and conflict of crisis, you've heard from Global Reading Network, and of course, Helen Education, Higher Education Learning Network. So now we want to take a bit of your topical interest. We want to hear from you. I know a lot of you have your own vision, your own passion about what you think is topical for education in Africa in terms of priorities for our learning network. So this is an opportunity for you to contribute. We'll be launching a poll. If you check the chat box, you'll see the link to a poll. Now, how do we go about this? Please open the poll link in the chat box. You do not have to add your name, just press skip. Once you open the link, press skip. For each learning network of interest to you, select your favorite among the topical priorities that we have provided. If a learning network is not of interest to you, you can hit the next button in the top right of the window. You see there. You can undo your selection as well by clicking on the trash can icon on the far right of your choice. So you can also offer any additional topic or subtopics that you think we in the Africa Hub should consider that you will find in question 4. Please take time to press to hit the link and then launch the poll. If you have any questions, please drop it in the chat box so that we can offer you the necessary guidance. This exercise will last for like 3 minutes, and then we'll share the results in the plenary. A few more seconds, and then we'll launch. We'll show the results of our poll.
I won't be able to enter. I can share this one. I think I should.
All right. So what do we have here? So let me have a go at Helen. The question says, which of the following Helen Steering Group subtopic priorities is of greatest interest to you? Let me start with the highest here. We have, but again, maybe not in order of preference, but let me take democracy and student activism has 9%. Employability has 15%. Research and innovation has 19%. And I think that is about the highest vote we have here. Responsiveness to local needs, 9%. Facility skill development in learner-centered teaching and applied research, 4%. Institutional leadership development, 3%, along with management and financial systems strengthening, national systems and policies, incentive letter centered approach, 7%, teaching, learning, assessment, 11%, student safety, mental well-being, 8%, access, retention, completion for marginalized students, 9%, outreach and engagement with local global partners, 4%. I think the sense we have here is that a lot of you will want to engage with our higher education learning network from the point of view of research and innovation. And I think that you are in the right place. So let's have a look at the other results for the other networks, please. For the ECCN, we asked which of the following ECCN steering group subtopic priorities of greatest interest to you. Now, strengthening schools emergency response, 8. Preparedness and disaster risk reduction, 5%. Collaborating with non-education and youth serving sector, 11%. Supporting safety to and in learning environments, 8%. Strengthening community-led learning environment initiatives, 11%. Education sector support on safe school protocols, reporting and response, 4%. Building trauma and informed education system is not doing too well here with 1%, and supporting the well-being of displaced persons is 5%. A bit of a build-up jumping from 5 to 11, we have the social emotional learning and overall well-being. And I think the highest comes from affordable, scalable, accelerated, and all non-formal education approaches. And of course, dropping down to 12%, overcoming barriers to education and support. And further down, 9%, inclusive learning environments, especially for displaced persons. So the star performer for the ECCN here, it's affordable, scalable, accelerated, and non-formal education approaches. Thank you for that contribution. So let's move on to the next Global Reading Network. So we also asked the same question, and working with local governments and civil society comes at 15%. And of course, that is also highly rated. Localized system strengthening, 9%, sustainable and scaling up localization, 7%, along with school-led initiatives and school improvement plans. And on top of the list, sharing the top spot with the first topic, we have multilingual learning context. And of course, dropping to 7%, we have capacity building for teachers, and capacity building for teacher educators and school administrators dropped to, well, a notch up, 8%. And then global proficiency framework, policy linking, curriculum revision, contextualization, 4%, continuous and formative assessment, 1%. And of course, data quality analysis and decision-making, 4%. And pedagogical and psychological support and social emotional learning skills, 3%. Reading in the home, 1%. Book supply chain, local markets, 3%. Gender responsiveness, 4%. And thumbs up for out of school children and youth. This is something that we're going to take very seriously. Like I said, your feedback is very important to us. We're going to go and process this. And of course, we're going to use them to also help shape the direction of the learning networks and of course the hub in the Africa region. Thank you for participating in the hub. In the poll as well. So we have what other topics or subtopics you suggest in terms of as a consideration for the Africa Regional Hub? Yeah, we have literacy, we have gender equality, we have peace and conflict, mother tongue education, capacity building for teacher, and on and on and on. So we keep these very close to us. We're going to use them, and of course, you will begin to see how these would inform our direction. So thank you for the poll and for letting us know what other topics are important to you. Now we are coming gradually to the close of the event, and I want to share some very important information with you. So please remember to sign up to join the Africa Hub by clicking on the link in the chat box. This is very important, please, so that we have a sustainable engagement. You can also access the sign-up form from the QR code on the screen. All future communications about Africa Hub activities will be sent primarily through the Africa Hub email listserv, because some of you had asked how you can effectively engage with us. So please pay close attention as we give you the hints in terms of engaging with us. You can register for events of interest of choice to you. Please remember to look out for announcements of our webinar events on the Higher Education Learning Agenda Evidence Primers, the Education and Conflict and Crisis Network Community Consultation, and those where we will hear from others who have insights and promising practices to share about COVID-19 education responses. Please do enroll in professional development opportunities of interest to you. You wanted to know about professional development, you have to enroll. You can learn more about our trainings and those offered by partners and friends in the education sector in our newsletter. Please take advantage of announced opportunities to co-create with us. The hub is about co-creation of knowledge products. And so this is an opportunity for you to co-create with us and also with your peers. This might be co-creation of knowledge product or contributing to a learning event or trading. And finally, engage with us online. Each of the Global Learning Network has a LinkedIn page and discussion group that you should join. The pages are where we post announcements, and the announcements can be seen by anyone on LinkedIn. The groups are where you can communicate with one another. So we want to thank you for taking time to join us today. We will keep the conversation going. We've given you all the instruction in terms of how to engage by clicking the appropriate links, and of course, joining the appropriate learning networks, and of course, joining the Africa Regional Hub. We will be reaching out back to you as we evolve in terms of growing the membership and in terms of participating and aligning your interests with the three learning networks. I thank you very much for joining us today, and I assure you, as you join up, you will be hearing from us very shortly. Thank you for your time and hope to hear from you soon.